Good morning, Facebook friends. Helen Arcantu here, CEO of the YWCA of Northern New Jersey. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am so happy to be with you today. It's been a little while, but and we got ourselves kind of fixed into the new year, and we're ready to pop back in with so many great conversations. Starting with today, I am so thrilled to talk today about the important role of arts in impacting our overall well-being. It's no joke. Everyone's carrying a lot these days for sure, and we have to find positive and varied outlets, to be able to support our mental health and our well-being. And we've known for so long that drawing, painting, and other forms of art are definitely ways to express ourselves, to really be able to articulate our ideas, and also to help form our identities. Today, a guest knows all too well about the impact theater and creative play can have on someone's life, especially a child, but not limited to children. This is actually a great modality for all. And we have, as I said, today we have with us, she's been doing this work for almost 25 years, Miss Carmela. Carmela, please say your last
I
name
know
for
it's
me.
not an easy one. When you have an S and a Z together, it's never easy. It's Willows.
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 And I
Yeah.
apologize. I usually
No
ask this
worries.
before we get started, but so we have Carmela Willows with us, and she has produced high quality live theater and entertainment. And after touring around northern New Jersey region as a performer, she founded Rhino Theater in 2001, which is leading a successful company. As the artistic director and executive producer there, she produces main stage performances featuring the area's incredible adult talent, youth and teen productions, theater arts, educational youth programs, and special events. Rhino Theater's educational programs involve workshops, classes, summer camps, Q&A with guest speakers. Some of the productions and directing credits under Carmela's leadership include Spamalot, Les Miserables, How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, Beauty and the Beast, Annie, Avenue Q, and so many others. In 2022, Carmela and her husband Ken founded the Star Royal Theater in Pompton Plains, New Jersey, and she is continuing the legacy of what she started years ago. So, oh my goodness.
That was a lot.
And welcome. It
Welcome.
was a lot.
Thank you for being. I love being here. Thank you.
How amazing. I mean, how amazing. What an amazing journey that you've had to this moment.
It is absolutely an amazing journey. And now just listening to what you said, I was like, wow, that it's all true, but it is quite a feat and a labor of love for sure. Absolutely.
Well, I do believe that. I do fully believe that anything related to the arts is so in sync with your identity and your core as an artist. And I think that is really one of the gifts when you share it the way that you have been, is you help other people access that piece of themselves that maybe they have not. So tell us how you got inspired to start all this 22 years ago. I mean, as I said, what a journey. But, we have so many women who are connected to our community here at the YW that kind of have a dream or a passion. How do we, what can you share about, what made you take that and turn it into this?
It's a very interesting story. People ask me that a lot, and it never ceases to amaze me, my beginning, because I didn't start wanting to open a theater company. I've been a performer, a singer most of my life. And it wasn't until after my first child, my daughter was in kindergarten, that I actually performed in my first musical. And I did high school things and I've always been a singer, but I performed in a musical and I fell in love with it. I went from one to the next to the next. It was so part of me. My family was very supportive. And in one of the musicals, actually the very first one, someone that I performed with said, listen, there's this spot in Pompton Lakes, and I knew about it because I was a resident, that, they transformed. There used to be a movie theater, and now it's a live theater venue. and would you like to put on a show? That's what they did. They hired like different theater companies to come in, put on a show. Another one would come in. So I said, that sounds like a really fun idea. I think I would like to try that aspect of it, behind the scenes producing. And we produced our first show together at the time. And I loved it. Like, I fell in love with this process. And I decided to, like, it was full steam. Like, I knew it was a successful show. So the person that owned the theater said to us, like, we want you to be the resident theater company here. You guys did a great job. It was a successful performance. We paid our bills, very important. And that's what we did. We did it for about a year. We started doing this, and we called it Smiling Rhino Theater at the time. And I literally loved it. Like, I knew that it was something that I wanted to do. And I knew I had to make a choice, because both of us were working full time at the time, my former partner and I. And I was like, I have to make a choice. I have to quit my job and either do this, what I love, or do it part-time, which didn't cut it for me. So that's what I did. I delved in. He decided, and we split amicably. He was like, I'm not going to do this full-time. And that's 22 years ago. And that's my story. I knew nothing about it. I had to learn as I went along. I delved into theater programs for children, summer camps. Had a wonderful season of performances, and I did that year after year after year. And at that time, 22 years ago, there was such a need for it. So we were very busy, very, very busy. Oops, I don't hear you, so I'll keep talking.
I appreciate you telling us about your leap of faith.
Yes.
And that it takes, to start a journey like this, because there is a bit of a wing and a prayer,
it was. You never know what the universe has in store for you. You have to be open for it. I was like, this is something I didn't know that I would love so much, and I was like, this is what I'm going to do.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So here's the question. We know that children are natural born actors, right? And I know that from just watching, my own kids play. Yeah. With their friends, or, listening to, them when they're in their rooms by themselves, or, catching them pretend in some way. But it's such an important way to help them grow, to help them learn, to help them access, parts of themselves, like you said. So, talk to us about that. I mean, a lot of parents may not be wired to embrace the arts, so they may not be thinking to pass it along generationally to their children.
Yes.
But we know that it's key.
It is absolutely key. And everything you've said is so important, because, I had the same child. She was in her room and singing and dancing, and now she's on the stage 33 years later, because she is, as many other children the same age, had that desire. They had the creativity, they had the imagination. But when you join the theater program, it gives you the structure that you need to be able to, focus on that creativity, make yourself a character, and then put it in a performance or a workshop or a show, where it's now for an audience to enjoy what you have literally put together by your own making, by being creative and making a character. So I think theater programs are wonderful for those child, and even for those children, and even for children who may not know that they need something like this, because it teaches them such life skills being part of this program. I mean, it really does. It teaches them how to work together. It teaches you how your confidence gets boosted. There's so many fringe benefits of being part of theater programs, children and adults, actually.
Absolutely. And I have to say, in our Healing Space program, which is our sexual violence program, we actually use the arts very often in different, creative modalities to be able to help our survivors access trauma and move through it in a way that kind of talking therapy doesn't always, do for them. So the power really is, impact, there's such an impact in this, whether it's, from a personal journey or from healing, in any way and shape. So We know that, and to that end, we know that so many children and adults do struggle with self-expression. We are a buttoned up society, and folks kind of hold a lot in.
Yeah.
How can we use, what, you are sharing and your gifts to be able to encourage a community environment where people can truly be themselves and
Right.
figure out who that is too, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I touched on it before, by
Yeah.
being part of these programs, it teaches you so much, right? It teaches you how to be confident, how to find yourself, how to solve problems. You have to be able to be adaptable. You have to be a team player. You have to be accepting of each other. I mean, we have all kinds of different children. I have parents that come in and say, ever since my child has done theater programs, they volunteer more. They'll be okay at public speaking. They'll be able to incorporate themselves in different programs in schools, because I feel when they are part of this program, it gives them the self-confidence to not only be someone else, which is what we do as actors, or someone else, but be more comfortable in your own skin, because I think you have to be comfortable in your own skin to be able to be someone else. So it gives them life skills, life friends, confidence. It's an overall wonderful modality for all of that. And I say even adults, I touched on that before, but there are some adults that still have that problem these days. They're still trying to find themselves. I can't tell you what happens when people are here. Everybody is very accepting of each other. Even if you're a sports person, or you're a theater person and you have green hair, and when these kids and these adults come together in a theater format, it's amazing how wonderfully positive it is. It really does wonders for everyone.
Yeah, I fully believe that it is life changing. And I also want to encourage, for those of you watching that think to yourself, well, I'm not sure that my kid's a performer, or I'm not sure that I'm a performer, but just listening to the benefits, you never really have to be a performer to really access those benefits and use them. I mean, this is really about helping develop emotional intelligence. This is about developing those really important skills about being able to, being, reactive and responsive in situations. And so there's so much that you can pull from this, even if you don't have the amazing journey of creating theaters and, performing that, that you have. So much to get for it.
I think some of the best stories are those that, these kids will come in and they're literally saying 2 words, or they're very shy, or they just don't know if they fit in quite yet, and they stick it through. And I mean, I have stories of some kids that you couldn't even push them on the stage. They knew they wanted to be there, but they were frightened, or whatever it was. But with the right environment, the nurturing, the support of a team, that's so super important. My instructors are unbelievable. I think my best stories are the ones that are just like, you can't even get them to stop, because they have found themselves. They found they're comfortable in their skin now. And, those are the best stories ever.
Yes. And as you said, truly transformational, in ways that honestly, there's probably no other way to get them there, than using this, what you're doing. Yeah. So tell us about what is planned and coming, for all of you.
Oh gosh, there's a lot. How much time do we have? No, we open February.
We'll get it in.
We'll get it in. We open February 10th with Rock of Ages. We have 2 things that are happening here. We do our live performances, and then we have our theater education with live performances. But our live performances coming up, we have Rock of Ages, which is that wonderful jukebox musical featuring all those 80s, it's weaved around those 80s songs, Bon Jovi and Journey. That opens February 10th to the 26th. Then we go right into Monty Python's Spam-A-Lot. We did that 10 years ago. We're reprising that one. We do a fan favorite called Golden Oldies Live, which is music of this year's 60s and the 70s. And then we go into a June show, which I didn't pick yet, which is the best part about owning your own business, because you could put something in on the fly. And then Rocky the Musical in the summer, which is probably an area premiere, I believe. And then we have our education. Our February classes start with a pop singing workshop. I have a new affiliate now, Actors Technique New York, which is a New York affiliate. They're coming into my space, and they're going to be doing some programming, some TV film workshops, and a Broadway workshop. And then summer camp. Then we go right into summer camp. And Avenue Q as well for the high school edition for the teens.
So tell me about the ages, that you're working with these different programs.
Well, today on the class, I'll have an age workshop from 4 to 6. So it really begins as early as 4 or 5, a lot of teens, a lot of 8 to 12s, and then teen work. And then, of course, our adults. We do a lot for the adults. So it's really everyone. Everyone can do it.
Yes, that's really amazing. So. Yeah. So take us, as a obviously a creative, but also a woman entrepreneur who's, been on this amazing journey to this moment. I mean, and you're obviously still creating, how have you managed that kind of evolution to stay current and impactful and not, be a dinosaur,
Right.
in your area and in your work? Because, you're talking about Rock of Ages, you're talking about a lot of these, things that everyone's really drawn to right now. But it's also cool that you're doing some of the classics, if you will, like Spamalot and so forth.
You have to try. I find that my audience changes. Probably the most difficult part is choosing the show. I always said that's my challenge, is choosing the show, because it's such a big commitment. Once you put on a show, you're getting the sets and you're hiring the musicians, and and if the show doesn't do well, you just say, well, that show wasn't right for me. So you just have to keep trying. Like, I like to do a mix of something that's trendier, and and other things, like the classics, like Spamalot, like Les Mis. So the space allows me to do that. It's a beautiful theater space, so I can be really flexible. So that's it. You just keep trying. You try things, some things stick, and some things don't.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think the weaving factor is producing a good product. That's what I find my legacy is. Like, I really want it to be a professional show. It has to, you have to go to everyone's senses. Their auditory has to sound good. You have to hear the voices over the musicians. It has to look beautiful. You have to feel it. Like, those are the things that I focus on. Giving them great service. They get chocolate kisses when they leave. So it's important to me that the show is good. The sets are good. The sound is good. So that's the one thing I could weave through everything I do.
Yes. Well, it clearly helps it come together as a full sensory experience when you have, all of those different factors.
Yes.
And then, opening night lights,
Yes.
that come too.
And then the audience, their comments afterwards. I mean, that's what I live for. I live for they come up, and sometimes it's overwhelming. Like, they have such a great experience, that's really what makes it all worthwhile.
For sure. So how can a parent who maybe is listening today and, is like, maybe I could try this out, but their child might be nervous about it, and, is kind of reticent to jump in, what are some tips that you have found that helps get children feeling comfortable in this space?
It's a great question, because I do get that. First of all, I have them come in and talk to me. I say, just come in, let's chat, let's get on a one-to-one. I talk to them about the program. I show them the space, I let them know that it's a very comfortable space to be in. And sometimes if they're still not sure, I say, try one class. That's all you have to do. No commitment, come in and try a class, and it'll be your decision, and really most cases they join because they see how fun it is. But definitely come in and chat with me. I feel I can sell it the best because I have the experience to be able to tell them what they're going to expect, and what kind of fun they're going to have, and they're going to be doing this and that, and so come and chat.
Yes, that's good to know. So,
Yeah.
folks that you're out there, tell us how we find you. Tell us where, where are all the links? We're putting some here for everybody.
That's it. The best way to find out everything in one spot is the website. So you can peruse the website. You can see all the great shows that are coming up at star-royale.com. The shows that are coming up, the February classes that are starting next week, and then our summer camps. So that's basically it. And, there's a chat on there. You can reach out to me. You can email me. I'm very accessible.
Well, I love that. I love it. And I do encourage folks to go check out the site, learn about the different programs and options. I know I'm just a firm believer that, the arts really need to be, obviously we know that our schools have, really been, put in the decisions of, deciding to put their money in other places because of, budget cuts. And I know that we probably both agree that it's shouldn't be redirected, that this really creates that important balance and makes, helps us grow humans, that are able to, be empathetic and, creative with solutions, problem solvers, and all of those things. So until we can get the schools back there, with their budgets, it's so wonderful to know that we've got programs like yours and people like you in the community that are helping, create opportunities that we can access, both for our children and for ourselves, so that we can keep growing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a wonderful place to be. And I also will tell you that I think I'm on my sixth wedding. So people meet here. They find their life partners. They have children. My own daughter, she met her husband on the stage. So there's that going on as well.
Wow, that you may have a whole nother thing going there. I see a new program brewing in your future. A new offshoot.
Yeah.
But but it totally makes sense, because when you really are, helping develop your authentic self, and it's a beautiful thing to be in the presence of that, and and start in that space together. So, well, folks, I'm so glad that you could join us today and hear about this amazing program that we have here in our community. Again, please check out the Star Royal Theater website. Also follow on IG, on Facebook. We've got all the places and spaces that you can find Star Royal Theater and all the great programs that have been created for all of us to be able to partake in. And, I hope that even if, this has helped you just think a little bit differently about the arts and ways, that it's not just about entertainment, that it really is about, developing your best self. So what a wonderful gift that you give to all.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing for all. Thank you.
And for us, we hope that you stay connected to us on YWTV. We are sharing with all of you too that starting next week, we're going to be doing a 2-week intensive conversation, looking for our community to join us to unite against hate, starting on February 1st at 7 p.m. We'll be working to bring attention and a conversation, which is really urgent, about all the bias crimes that we're seeing here in New Jersey on an uptick and across the country. People's lives are being lost, and it's really, really an urgent situation. And there's stuff that we can all do, to help make an impact here. And then there's also a lot to learn. So please join us for 4 conversations. One's focusing on the LGBTQ plus community. One's focusing on the AAPI community. One's focusing on anti-Semitism. And also we'll be having those 3 of the series will be all virtual on YWTV. And we'll have a final in-person town hall conversation happening at Caldwell University on February 8th. to kind of wrap it all up. So please stay tuned. There'll be lots of information on our site about those conversations, and also stay connected to us to be connected to our senior wellness opportunities, our caregiver group, all of our health and wellness classes. We have a YW Tech program for women who are interested in learning about computers and the IT tech world, which is really a wonderful way to be able to make more money for you and your family once you kind of get those skills. And we have so many other great programs going on as well. So check out our website, check out Star Royal Theater's website, and have a fabulous day. And thank you for taking a little bit of time out of yours to spend it with both of us. And thank you so much for being with us and sharing your personal story, and sharing the wonderful programs that you have going on. And we will hopefully see you soon.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day.